What's up, everybody? It's Reezy here with the Reason Sports Network, and today we got the 30-20 high school football playoff preview. This season on this channel, we'll be showcasing 6 different states/conferences in their high school football playoff. First off, we got the state of California, the CIF. Sitting at the number 1 seed, we have the Mater Dei Monarchs, which is the number 2 team in the nation. They have the best defense in the nation as well, ranking it at number 1 in every single category. A lot of people on Max Preps and 247 Sports say that this is the greatest defense of all time. I think they're averaging something like 4 or 5 points a game or something like that. You can see all the Mater Dei videos if you look on the Stan Amory playlist on our channel. But sitting at number 2, we have the Servite Friars, the number 2 seed. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How is this unranked team a higher seed than 2 ranked teams? Well, the reason for that is because Servite has a better in-state record than those other teams. Now, Servite's defense is great as well. They're number 2 in most categories, and they actually went toe-to-toe with Mater Dei earlier in the season. Now, sitting at number 3, we have Long Beach Poly, a talented team in South California. Now, Long Beach Poly, we actually have a Patreon member on their team, so we'll be showing off their Patreon road to glories on the channel. Now, number 4, we have number 15, Mission Viejo, another talented team. Number 5, we got number 25, GHSAA. Now, GHSAA has a Patreon member as well, so you'll see them on the channel as well. And I will be showcasing all of these games on live streams. Now, after GHSAA, we got the number 6 seed, which is De La Salle. De La Salle, talented football team, good players on the team, NorCal. Can't wait to see them going up against Long Beach Poly. Now, let's move to the state of Florida. At the number 1 seed, we have Lakeland, number 5 in the nation, very good football team. They going up against St. Thomas Aquinas. Now, the number 2 seed is number 6 Miramar. Miramar, extremely talented football team. They took some L's earlier in the season, but I think that they should be the favorite to win the Florida State Championship. Have one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, elite receiving core, great defense as well. Hey, Miramar, they got some dogs. A lot of Patreon members on the team, so you'll definitely see a lot of their games. Now, the number 3 seed in the Florida State playoffs is number 21 Cocoa. Cocoa, very good football team. Didn't expect them to be this high earlier on in the season, but they did their thing. Shout out to them. The number 4 seed, Miami Northwestern. Another good team. They actually beat Servite earlier in the season. We actually had that video on the channel in the Mikey Reynolds playlist. Now, the number 5 seed, we got Carroll City, another Miami team. It should be a good matchup, man. Miami Northwestern, Carroll City, talented football team. Now, after Carroll City, the number 16, Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington, I think they could beat Cocoa, just to be honest with you. I think they could beat Cocoa. They got some talent on their football team. They're the number 16. The number 17, Miami Central. Now, Miami Central going up against Miramar, they got some good players, don't get me wrong, but I think Miramar is just too much for them, to be honest with you. Now, the number 8 team, St. Thomas Aquinas. Aquinas, one of the best teams in the nation last year. They were ranked extremely high. Now, this year, they 6-6. It's going to be a tough matchup against Lakeland. I don't know if they can get it done, but they got some good players on the team. It's just they falling off from last season. I believe they won states last year. So they have a chance to make some noise in these playoffs, but let's be real, I don't really think that's going to happen. Now, after Florida, the next state we're going to preview their playoffs is the state of Georgia. Now, the state of Georgia, they don't have any teams ranked in the top 25 currently, but I think they have top 25 caliber teams with Marietta and Grayson, the number 1 and the number 2 seeds. These 2 teams, they get a first round bye, so we won't see them in the first round. But Marietta, extremely talented, a bunch of Patreon members on the team. They got an elite quarterback. He does turn the ball over a little bit too much, but he can make game-changing plays. Great receiving core, great defensive line, offensive line, the defense. Marietta, they have it all. I just think that if they would have had a lot more continuity earlier on in the season, I think they'd be ranked a lot higher. Now, the number 2 team in the state playoffs, Grayson. Grayson, one of the best young players in the nation, and Jacarius Best, a Patreon member. So I think Grayson has a nice chance of winning states as well. I can't wait to see them 2 teams go back at it. Now, the number 4 seed, we got McEachern. McEachern, good players on the team. Got a 4-star quarterback in Dada Fisher, subscriber to the channel. Think they should do well. The number 3 seed, Roswell. They got some good players on their team. Can't really think of anyone that's coming off the top of my head right now, but I'll think of them later. The number 5 seed is Lowndes. They're going to be playing up against McEachern. It should be a competitive football game. Now, the last team that we're going to talk about, the number 6 seed is Norcross. Norcross, they're going to be going up against Roswell. I think Norcross can upset them. Norcross has some good players on the football team. Roswell, I don't know if they can beat them, but it is what it is. We'll find out when the games are actually played. That was Georgia right there. The next state we're going to talk about is the state of Ohio. The state of Ohio has one team ranked, and they're top 10 team in the nation. That's St. Edward. St. Edward, extremely talented. They have Rezion Jameson, a Patreon member. They have a lot other subscribers on the channel. Their quarterback's a subscriber. A lot of receivers, subscribers. Hey, talented football team. The number 2 seed though, St. Edward has a bye along with the number 2 seed St. Xavier. They have a bye as well. St. Xavier, the number 2 seed in the nation, extremely talented football team. One of the best quarterbacks in the nation, Riley Brown, a 4-star. He's their starting quarterback, and he makes big time throws. He has a lot of talent around him on offense and defense. So St. Xavier, they get the bye and they play the winner of Wayne at Hobart. But the number 3 team is Wayne. Wayne from Huber Heights, Ohio. They got some good players on the team. Seen them play early in the season on the channel. They did their thing. The number 4 team in the state of Ohio, St. Ignatius, number 4 seed. They're going to be going up against Pickerington Central. That should be a good game at Pickerington Central. They got some good players. They got Frank Palmer, defensive end, subscriber to the channel. Big time defensive end. Pickerington Central, St. Ignatius, that should be a good game at Hobart, the number 6 seed. We saw them go back and forth with DeSoto, one of the best teams in the nation. We saw them do that earlier in the season on this channel. So Hobart, could they make a run? Highly unlikely, but they still have a chance to do so. Now, after Ohio, the next state we got to tap into is the state of Texas. Now, Texas, the number 1 team in the state of Texas with the number 1 seed is number 8 DeSoto. DeSoto, one of the most talented teams in the nation for the past 2 seasons. I think they choked in the state championship last year, but they got talent out the like wide receivers all over the place. Quarterback is a 5-star. Running backs are elite. Defense is elite. DeSoto has it all. So can they finally get over that hump and win that state title that they should have won last year against Cedar Hill? And they get a rematch with them in the first round. Cedar Hill won the state title last year and they played in the national championship, but they ended up losing to St. Francis and Andrew Rice. All of these videos is up on the channel, so hopefully I will be putting links on some of these videos from last season in here, so y'all can watch it if y'all want to. But the number 2 seed in the Texas State playoffs, number 12 Lake Travis. Now, Lake Travis, a lot of good players on the team. I did not expect Lake Travis to be up here. If you asked me earlier in the season, would Lake Travis be the number 2 seed in the playoffs and be ranked 12 in the nation, I'd be like, man, you crazy. I know they got a subscriber to the channel, quarterback Debo Moten, but I didn't expect this. Now, the number 3 seed in the entire playoffs is Trinity. Trinity, didn't expect them to be this high either, but hey, it is what it is. The games got to be played. The number 4 seed in the Texas State playoffs is number 13 Capel. Capel's very talented, got some good players on the team, subscribers to the channel. It should be very interesting when they play. The number 5 seed is Katy though. Katy, kind of a disappointing season, but they can redeem it in the playoffs. All they got to do is go on a run and win these state playoffs, man. Number 6 team is North Shore. North Shore, now they got Jay Lee Hart, a Patreon member. I don't think I've put him on the channel yet, but you'll see him on the channel during these high school football playoffs. Can't wait to see him and North Shore play against Trinity in the first round. Now, after North Shore, the number 7 seed is Duncanville. Duncanville is probably one of those teams that has talent, but definitely underperformed this year. They got Marius Friedel, the German exchange student at quarterback. They got Amari Vlone. They got Adonis Vlone, other subscribers to the channel. They got some dudes. They got some more subscribers as well, but those are just the main players. But they got some dudes on their team. So, can they upset Lake Travis? I would not be surprised if they did. So, stay tuned for that because, hey, it's going to get a little unchy, man. And the number 8 team is Cedar Hill. They actually went to the national championship last year. They won states last year over DeSoto. So, This is a rematch. DeSoto and Cedar Hill first round. DeSoto should win this game because they are the better team, but don't sleep on Cedar Hill. They won states last year. They got talent on their team. They just didn't have a good record in the state of Texas, but hey, you never know what can happen in the playoffs. So get your popcorn ready. It's gonna get unchy, man. Now, after Texas, the last conference slash state we're gonna tap into is the WCAC, the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference. Now, this conference right here has been historically one of the best conferences in the nation. This conference represents the best Catholic private teams in the Washington, D.C. area. So right here, we have 2 teams from Washington, D.C., and 2 teams from Maryland right outside of Washington, D.C. You know, they have some other teams in Virginia as well, but, you know, this just represents the D.C. area. Now, they have been historically great, but they've had a couple of down years in the past 2 seasons. DeMatha has been the dominant team, but all the other teams are just average to below average. The last 2 seasons, the number 1 seed, DeMatha, they've been absolutely dominant. They've only lost 1 game, and the 1 game they lost was to the eventual national champion St. Francis last season. This season, they've been undefeated, been blowing out everybody, and just been a dominant football team. So they have talent all over the place. They have a 5-star quarterback, Colin Dunn, who's committed to Texas Tech. You have a 5-star wide receiver, Cato Hendricks, who's only a sophomore right now. It's hard to believe. 4-star running back, Justin DeBurgo's committed to the University of Maryland. They got talent all over the place on both sides of the ball, just to be honest with you. And they've been expected to do this. They're the overwhelming favorite to win the WCAC. The number 2 seed is Gonzaga, who we just had them on the channel going up against St. John's. But they have talent on their team as well. They got a 4-star quarterback, very talented freshman wide receiver, Traquan Donaldson, subscriber to the channel. The quarterback is J.C. Jackson. He's actually a Patreon member. Then we got John Neal, another Patreon member who's their middle linebacker, who should be a 5-star when he eventually graduates. But talent on Gonzaga's football team. They're going up against the number 3 seed, St. John's, and St. John's got some good players as well. You know, notably Nick Zimmerman, the 5-star middle linebacker, absolute dominant player. He's a subscriber to the channel. You know, they got some good running backs like Zay Kemp Jr., subscriber to the channel, so it should be interesting. The number 4 seed, though, is Good Counsel, and Good Counsel has not been good this season, just to be honest with you. They have a 3-9 record. They've been whooped almost every single time they played, and they going up against DeMatha once again, and DeMatha should beat them to a pulp in this game. When DeMatha played up against Good Counsel last season in the WCAC Championship, Cato Hendricks went crazy. So I really expect DeMatha to absolutely run through this, and they might have a chance at the national championship. If y'all didn't know, the national championship is only the top 2 teams, so DeMatha, they couldn't get a chance at the national championship because they lost the game last season. They actually have no losses this year. They're undefeated, and a lot of people don't think that they'll be able to get into the national championship game because of some of the teams in front of them. But if they get a chance, I think they can win the Natty. But do I think they're going to get a chance? Nah, because they really didn't play any top tier teams this season. So if they want to play in the national championship, they got to play a lot more competitive football teams. So it is what it is. But anyways, it's Reezy here with the Reason Sports Network. Make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all comment on the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click on the post notification bell too, because high school playoffs are about to get started. I'm going to be dropping like crazy after the high school season. You know, we got the college football playoffs, the college championships. We got the rest of the NFL season, the NFL playoffs. And after that, we got basketball season, high school basketball season, college basketball season, women's college, NBA. Then we have the NFL draft, high school signing day. It's going to be a lot going on the channel. So make sure y'all stay tapped in, man. You can be a character in the Reason Sports Network universe. We make content for high school, college, and the pros. You can submit a form. The link will be in the description. However, if you sign up with Patreon, you'll have a lot more customization and control over your character. The link will be in the description. If you want to see some of the high school football playoff videos from last year, they won't be the exact same as how I'm going to do it this year, but y'all just can get a glimpse of what's going to happen in these playoffs, then click some of these videos on the screen.